Are you in the market for a good used car? Are you tired of all the scams, the shady ads, and the headaches? Are you about to give up and go to the dealer and probably pay more? Please don't do that, by the way. We'll keep watching this video. We'll walk you through it. We'll help you get the car you need without all of the headaches. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Windscreen YouTube channel. We're so glad you're here with us right now, and we hope you're having a great day. So before we get started here, we just want to ask that you subscribe to the channel and give this vid a thumbs up. It really helps us out. And don't forget, we're sending out free stickers to all our new subscribers. Thanks a lot. So we hope you know by now that Windscreen was created to give used car buyers and sellers a better option. A much better option compared to the used car marketplaces that are out there these days with their old ads, their outdated ads, ads with no pictures, ads with limited info, and all the dealers scamming as private sellers, adding confusion and headaches to the whole deal. Windscreen set out to settle the ills of all of that. So this week, as part of our tips and tricks series, we'll call it, we're going to focus on a little bit more of the buying side and go over a checklist of items that you definitely need to follow to make sure that you get the best used car possible. You don't want to spend your hard-earned money on an instant headache, do you? I didn't think so. I don't want to either. So stick with us. Now, I will admit, I've gotten hot and heavy over a good used car, that cool used car, gotta have it used car, and it was going to be awesome. But I didn't do my homework. And when I got it home, it turned out to not be the best decision. This has backfired quite a few times. You live and you learn, right? I should have followed this checklist many years ago before I got involved with buying and selling used cars. It has saved a lot of headaches. These crucial steps will definitely save you some pain and suffering. So first things first, you got to do your homework. And not like the homework that you claim your dog ate in the 8th grade. This is fun homework. Don't dread it. Actually, get started now. Don't wait until you need a good used car to jump into the market unprepared. As part of your homework assignment, here's some guidelines to get you started. You got to figure out what you're actually after. What do you need this good used car for? Do you need a minivan for that growing family? And think about the future now. That 2-door sports car might not be the best in 9 months. Do you need a good work truck? Do you really need an all-wheel drive or a 4-wheel drive vehicle? Or front-wheel drive work? Maybe a hybrid or an EV might fit the bill if you're putting on many miles per day. Will a sedan serve as a better commuter car than some sort of SUV or crossover? Sedans are generally cheaper. Sedan maintenance is generally cheaper. And they're easier to find in front-wheel drive or 2-wheel drive versus the all-wheel drive crossovers and SUVs. So there are so many styles and configurations of cars out there these days that it's easy to get overwhelmed and confused about what's best. So figuring out now what will fit your needs best will avoid the confusion and frustration in the future. And it will also avoid the temptation of buying that flashy red sports car instead of that silver minivan is really what you need. The next step here is to set a budget. And I'm not just talking about the purchase price of the car. I'll speak from experience here that sometimes the purchase price of the vehicle is the cheapest part of vehicle ownership. You've got engine repairs, transmission repairs, used tires that you got to replace. You've got brake issues, check engine lights, any number of things. Don't be like me. It's easy to get lured into a fancy new car or even a fancy used car, especially when you see your coworkers rolling up in a new car every year. You don't really know their financial situation. It's probably kind of a taboo to ask, because don't worry about that. But for all you know, they could be in debt up to their eyeballs.
And a 4-bedroom house in a great community. Like my car? It's new. I even belong to the local golf club. How do I do it? I'm in debt up to my eyeballs. I can barely pay my finance charges. Somebody help me.
So only focus on what you can afford, because issues will pop up. And you don't want to be left with $0 in your account when those issues pop up, and they will pop up. So only focus on what you can afford. Life can get expensive. You'll have medical issues, house issues, family issues. So make sure you have some money left over in your account for a rainy day because life can get expensive. So if you have cash set aside for a new car, then stick to that budget. Don't be tempted to go over. Take that amount of cash you've got and don't go over and keep that money in your pocket. And that's all you can afford to spend. And the reason you don't want to go over that budget is because you've got things like taxes and registration, potential repairs and deferred maintenance, all of that popping up when you purchase a good used car. Even though it is a good used car, it's still a used car, and there will be something that you need to take care of once you get it home. It's generally recommended to set aside about $200 a month on a vehicle that's paid for with no warranty to make sure you've got money set aside for repairs and maintenance. And that's on top of all the registration and property taxes and parking fees and fuel. So pretty much count on $500 or so per month in operating expenses. So make sure you've got that set aside because life, again, can get very expensive. And I know in this day and age, it's super easy to do, but please do not put that stuff on a credit card. That's a recipe for disaster. And if you listen to any type of podcast or TV shows about financial planning, don't use credit cards as the number one thing most people recommend. And if you're not going to pay cash and you're going to finance, make sure you understand the total cost with all of the finance charges rolled in. There's hundreds of horror stories, thousands of horror stories of people getting taken for a ride with a super high interest rate on used car deals. Those crazy 20 or 25% interest rates, when drug out over a few years, will almost double the total cost of what you were going to pay for that vehicle initially. $5,000 car can turn into $10,000 real quick. And obviously you didn't have $10,000 budgeted. Otherwise you'd have bought a $10,000 car. You had $5,000 budgeted for that car. So make sure you understand the interest rate math. It's not that hard. Just see the paperwork, see your monthly payment, and see your total cost of ownership after 3 or 4 years, whatever the finance charges are. And a local credit union or a good local bank or whatever will help you walk through that. And it's always recommended to keep the financing terms as short as possible because no matter what the interest rate is, if you drag it out 3, 4, 5 years, you're going to pay more in interest. That's just how the math works out. So in financing, make sure you have the total payment understood in your budget, and that's on top of all the aforementioned fuel, maintenance, repairs, and things that will pop up. So now it's getting exciting. You've decided on what you need, but it's time to do some research. You don't want to jump into the used car market and plop down thousands of dollars on something that you know nothing about. So it's time to dive a little bit deeper into your research in addition to the homework that you did previously. In this day and age, there's really no excuse for jumping into any market and spending lots of money on anything without doing some research. The internet's out there. It's got everything you'd ever want. You can ask your car friends, stop by a mechanic shop and talk to them. You've got probably people you work with that can give you some insight on something. There may be some car friends and car people, car fans that you're adjacent to every day. Just ask around. So there's also, when you go online and type in issues or years to avoid or things like that, there's going to be tons of results. But take it all with a grain of salt because people don't get on the internet to talk about how good their car is. They get on the internet and talk about how bad their car is. But some makes and models they made millions of and 10 people have a problem. That's not that uncommon. So just notice trends and see what people say. And if it's catastrophic issues, then you might want to be a little more concerned. But if it's issues like the radio quit working or the paint is fading or whatever, just be on the lookout for that stuff when you do go look at the car that you want. There's also very helpful web magazines out there like Consumer Reports. I recommend Consumer Reports anyway for just daily life and other things you need to buy. It's a very good resource. The National Highways Transportation Safety Board, they have a good website about major issues and recalls. Always check for recalls on any used car you're buying. And also Edmunds.com and KBB, all these other valuing websites, they have some good reviews too. So get to studying. So you found the car that you need, or maybe just want. And you probably found it on Windscreen, no doubt. But before you do anything and get too excited, it's time to go see the car in person, put hands on it, and take it for a test drive. This is a crucial step that a lot of people forget, especially if you don't buy and sell often. It's a real good idea to take a paper checklist with you of all the issues and concerns you've seen online, things you may need, definitely in the features of the car, so you don't forget. A lot of times you'll go and meet a seller and they're talking real fast and trying to make you avoid some issues that they may know about the vehicle that you don't know yet. They're trying to lead you in certain directions or make you avoid a certain issue that's not working. So take that checklist with you so you can methodically go down it and make sure you don't miss anything. Before you do any test driving, make sure that you see the paperwork for the vehicle. Usually a good used car, the seller has it paid off, so they should have the title. You got to make sure the title name matches the driver's license or what the guy says his name is, and the VIN that's on that title matches the VIN on the vehicle. We've covered this before, but there's a good way to check the VIN on the inside of the driver door or at the base of the windshield. So check the paperwork over for all of those numbers, make sure they're matching, make sure the names are matching, and then ask for any maintenance records they have and possibly a Carfax. A lot of used car sellers will go ahead and get the Carfax and show it to all potential buyers to greatly smooth over the transaction and ease some fears. So ask for that too. So you crank the car up, let it warm up a little bit, make sure it's not making any weird noises, any clunking sounds, it's not smoking, it's not dripping fluids, and do a good walk around. Check the tires, check the tread depth, see what the age of the tires are.
There are many markings on the sidewall of a tire with sizing, speed ratings, and other information. But if you want to know when it was manufactured, you'll see 4 numbers in a small oval. The first 2 numbers are the week it was made. The next 2 represent the year. This tire was made in the 21st week of 2018.
That's a pretty common thing. They'll be selling cars that have been sitting, and the tread depth is pretty good, but the age of the tires is getting on up there, 8, 9, 10 years old. And when tires get older, they start to get hard and they won't offer as much good wet traction. So look at the age of the tires too. We'll show a little diagram here of how you find that. And look for any damage on all of the panels, any rust. Look at the wheel wells, look at the roof, open the trunk, open the back gate. A lot of times people just want to open the front door, hop in and go. But do a good walk around and check and see, because a lot of times the passenger side is dinged up, but the driver's side didn't, or vice versa. So do a thorough walk around. So before you get in and drive, open the hood, check to make sure it all looks okay. There's no steam coming from anywhere, no weird smells, and you don't see any drips, any leaks. And if the underside is looking pretty good and the underside of the hood and the engine's looking pretty good, pretty clean, that usually means that the seller is taking pride in that vehicle. Not always, but it's a good sign. So you're going for that drive now. You got to get the car up to speed. Make sure it tracks straight. There's no weird vibrations. It's not pulling to the left or the right. No weird sounds. Make sure it'll go 70, 80 miles an hour, whatever you need it to do. And if that all checks out, you'll pull back in. You got to check the AC, check the turn signals, check it, make sure the radio works, the locks work, the windows work. Make sure reverse works too. We've heard horror stories of people not checking reverse, and the seller always had the vehicle pull in somewhere they could easily get out. So make sure you check reverse.
Whereas what we have here, a bunch of fig eaters wearing towels on their head trying to find reverse on a Soviet tank.
The last thing, when you pull in, leave it running, do a final walk around, make sure there's no fluids leaking, any weird smells, any smoke. Sometimes cars will take a little while to get, if burning oil, they'll start to smoke after 5 or 10 minutes of driving. So let it run, check it out, give it one last walk around, and make sure the car is right for you. So you found the ride you want, huh? And you're ready to make a deal? Well, not so fast. Make sure you call your insurance company, see how much insurance is going to cost, and if they will offer insurance at all, or if they'll offer full coverage insurance, if that's something that's important to you. You need to understand that cost before you do anything. And don't let the seller know your emotions. Don't go in there all super excited and let them know that you're going to pay exactly what they're asking. Even if you do really want it, and the price does seem fair, you can still try to haggle down a few $100s, maybe even $1,000. Don't be scared to do that. Now, not all sellers are going to be willing to haggle. Some sellers like to haggle, some don't. A lot of sellers will just say their price is firm or they've listed it reasonably. So just kind of roll with the punches there. But don't be scared if they're kind of haggling with you to ask $500, $1,000 off, whatever you feel comfortable with. A lot of people don't like to get into the private buying and selling situations for issues just such as this is haggling, but you probably won't ever see that person again. It doesn't really matter. Just go for it. It never hurts to ask. And obviously, don't forget, you've got other things coming up too, like registration. You may need to do some repairs or maintenance on the car. So don't be scared to ask for a little off, especially if you have, if you've seen some obvious issues like a check engine light or worn out tires or brakes that are squealing. Those things can cost $500,000 easy, especially if you're doing it at a shop. So don't overpay on the car and then have to do maintenance too. So don't be afraid to haggle. And once you're ready to make that deal, make sure you print out 2 copies of a simple bill of sale. You can find it in a template online, basically anywhere. Just do a quick search for it. And make sure you get the names of the buyers and sellers. You want to have the driver's license numbers, if you can, the date of the transaction, the make, the model, the trim of the car, all that good stuff. So if you have any issues with registration in the future or any law enforcement issues, you'll have you'll have those copies. You take one and you leave one with the seller. So there's a train of ownership there. And that will really greatly reduce your risk when it comes to registration, or say if you were involved in an incident driving home, you'll have that bill of sale with you to prove that you are the legal owner of that vehicle. And speaking of insurance, before you do drive away, make sure you at least have the minimum insurance on that vehicle. A lot of insurance companies will just add it over the phone with the VIN. They'll add the minimum insurance just to keep you protected on the road in case you do get involved in an incident. And it may not even be your fault. Somebody runs into you, or for any reason you can get involved with law enforcement. The first things they ask is license and registration and insurance, please. So you want to be able to make sure you can hand that over. That's with a bill of sale and an insurance card on your phone or something printed out quickly will greatly reduce the headache and pain when it comes to driving that good used car back home. Great news. You got that good used car home. You didn't have any issues. No law enforcement pulled you over. No paper checks. That's fantastic. But now it's time to catch up on any deferred maintenance. Make sure you call your insurance company and make sure that you've got the full coverage or proper coverage on there for the length of time that you need. Now is a good time to shop around for insurances too. Used car insurance is, who knows what it is. It's continually going up, but also all of the companies are kind of in battle for your business too. So now's a good time to shop around and start saving up for those upcoming expenses that will pop up. So I could talk about buying and selling used cars all day long, but we'll end this video here. We hope this checklist will be of some help to you in the future. And like always, if you have any questions or concerns, drop us a comment here or reach out to us at info@windscreen.com. We greatly appreciate you watching. Thank you and have a fantastic day.